Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the WIM Speaks Show, produced by the #1 sisterhood in the world. Yes, Women in Media Global, hosted by your girl, DP Jeter. And today we have another amazing guest for you in the studio. So if you have a business, this is for you. If you're trying to make millions, this is for you. And if you want to work smarter and not harder, stay tuned to this episode and get so much information. So welcome to the show, the millionaire creator, owner of She's Got Goals, LLC, Dr. Karwana D. For the first time in history, the knowledge that government contract strategist Dr. Karwana D provides allows ordinary people to become millionaires. All right, that's us. Dr. Karwana has helped over 200 business owners generate in excess of $3 million and grow in revenues. In 2022, she created even more millionaires and aims to continue to do so far for communities of small business owners from around the country. She wants all small business owners to obtain this knowledge from her and grow. Karwana has learned how to build a business from the ground up, and that includes establishing your business, marketing, branding, building a website, understanding your target market, and more. In addition, she has created the millions, billions, and trillions, the $1 trillion GovCon Qualifier app, an easily accessible app to get pre-qualified for government contracts. This app will tell you what small business government contracting programs you qualify for and what you need in business to be eligible for contracts. And the app is available wherever you download all of your apps, the Android store, the Apple store. So without further ado, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you.
I love everything that you're doing, right? You have the app going on, so I'm really excited about the app and want to get into how you're helping small business owners. Our audience is really going to love this episode because it's filled with women who have dreams of starting a business or they're in business. And, you know, a lot of our small businesses are struggling with funding, so we really appreciate you bringing this knowledge.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So, of course, for those who are aspiring to start businesses, and for those who are maybe just getting started, or even if you've been in business, like just listen in on the information that I'm going to share, because it's really going to change the way that not only that you think about business, but the access to opportunities and capital that you need to take your business to the next level. So I'm excited about, sharing the information today.
So let's start off by you just telling us like how you got into business, where you're from, all those good things. Give us a little bit of background story.
All right, for sure. So I'm Dr. Karwana D. I am from San Francisco Bay Area, California, West Coast, stand up. But, of course, I have a global impact across the nation. And about a little over 20 years ago, I actually walked away from corporate America because I really got tired of working hard and not really enjoying life. So if you ever been, working a 9 to 5, then you understand what that feels like, feeling like, like you're a robot, feel like you get up every single day to go do the same thing, to go home, to have just a little bit of time to maybe eat and take care of the kids for a moment. Then you got to go to sleep and get up and do the same thing all over again. Right. And so when I was growing up, like I really wanted to break the normal things that I saw my mom do and I saw what was happening in the community. I didn't want to live that, you know what I mean? So for me, I would see what superstars and really highly successful people were accomplishing and what they were doing. I'm like, I want to live like that, Right. And so growing up, especially from the inner cities, like I wanted to do something different, break the norm and break generational curses. And so, so what I did was I walked away from corporate America. I started a business. Of course, at that time I had no idea, what I was doing or how I was going to make money in that business. And so, but I knew that business was going to be the first gateway to getting me to the freedom and that I wanted, and to break through the limitations, financial limitations that corporate America had me bound by, right? So for a few years, of course, I had no clue what I was doing, but, I did it anyway.
Okay. Right.
And I was able to do that because, of course, it was a 2-parent household. So, I had a little support there. So I was able to like figure out business the wrong way. And traditionally, you know how traditionally like we're taught like, and you probably have heard this too, right? So it takes 2 to 5 years to really build a business and to don't even expect a profit for the first 2 to 5 years.
That,
like most people think that, right? This is like the norm, right? And so I went into business thinking that. I read a bunch of articles about bootstrapping your way to the top. And I'm like, well, I guess that's what we got to do.
I bootstrapped.
I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess we got to put our money back into the business. So I did that. But at some point I was like, really gotta be a better way. Like it's gotta be a better way.
Right.
And so for the first few years in business, I struggled like most entrepreneurs. Like I would say 98% of small business entrepreneurs are struggling to even make 6 figures.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I didn't want to be a part of that 98%. I wanted to find out how can I be a part of the top 2%, right? And so
the top 2% are
millionaires.
Millionaires.
Yeah.
Only 2%.
Only 2%. And the numbers are even more staggering when you're talking about 2% of Black owned businesses.
So is
it's
that
even
current
smaller.
Or is it getting...
That's current.
What?
Only 2%. And so
So I just want to pause right there and just give shout outs to God because it's so many millionaires in my immediate circle.
And they probably don't even know they're a part of the top 2%.
Y'all doing it. So shout outs to you. Shout outs to the millionaires who's listening to this, who are my friends, who are Dr. Kawana's friends, because I mean we the top. We the top. That's what's up.
Like so I'm here because like I'm in a mastermind. So I was connected with other multiple 6-figure earners and millionaires, right? And they're like, these are the problems that we're having, and the business is going up and down. I'm like, do you not know that we are the top of, part of the top 2%? You have to be grateful, and there's always going to be ups and downs, the highs and the lows, right?
You're preaching.
The reason why we have the highs is so that you can have what you need to sustain you through the low moments, right? So once you understand how to make money, you never forget that.
Come on.
You just got to continue, right? Doing the work, right? That's it.
So you talked about, not to cut you off.
That's okay.
You're already, this is awesome. You talked about how to make money.
Yeah.
Can you simply just tell us quickly, how do we make money in our business?
So after struggling a few years in my business, barely making $20,000-$30,000 a year, but working 70-80 hours a week, I actually was freelancing for the first Black billionaire that I had ever met personally. And he was like,
the first Black billionaire.
And I was like,
wait,
dude.
in history? Like they're like.
In history. No. The first Black billionaire that I've ever personally met.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I was freelancing for him, and I was doing video production, and I was doing photography, and I was like building his websites, like all the stuff that I was doing. And I was like, you know what? How did you, like most of the time you don't ask people. You feel like it's taboo to ask people, how did you do it? Right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, especially in the Black and brown community, it's like nobody wants to share the information. But he took a serious look at me and he said, well, the same thing that you're doing for me, there are lucrative government contracts and you can actually sell that service to the government. And I said, what? Like, it was crazy to me because I was like, when you're thinking about government, you're thinking war. You're thinking weapons, you're thinking military. I'm like, video production. And he told me that the government buys literally everything. And so from that, I actually made it my business to really figure out how to make government contracts work for me. And at that time, it was just like, after a while of figuring out, bumping my head and stuff, it took me a couple years to really kind of find the blueprint. Because nobody was teaching. Like nobody was teaching you how to do the stuff, right? And then I landed my first contract. It was $70,000, but it was only for 28 days of work. So suddenly I had replaced what I was working in corporate America, missing out on family time and friend time and feeling like I was a robot in the circle. And I replaced that annual income in 30 days, less than 30 days. And I was like, wait a minute,
Right.
Like, we were told all these lies about 2 to 5 years in business to turn a profit.
A lie.
How had I been doing this from the beginning, I would have turned a profit within my first 30, 60, 90 days of business.
Go.
So I call it the $1 trillion secret to government contracts. I'm like, every person who's in business needs to know that the government has your money.
And we are so happy that you're here spreading this knowledge to all of our business owners. And even now that you might be thinking about starting a business, now you actually have a source to get to the funding.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us a little bit about like what that application process is like for us to apply for the grants?
Sure. So
or the funding, because it's not a grant.
Right? Exactly. So here's the thing. And most people don't know this. So in 2019, the federal government spent over $6 trillion on business products and services.
I just feel like I just want to get up and shout. Like, I just feel like we just hit a gold mine.
It is a gold mine. And watch this. In 2020, that spending increased by $3 trillion. So that's $10 trillion. But here's where you need to listen in on. Because out of that $10 trillion, 26% was obligated and mandated, according to the Small Business Act, to be spent with small business entrepreneurs.
Awesome.
That's me. That's you. That's everyone who has under 500 employees, according to the SBA, right? Standard. And so that's over $2.6 trillion that's being spent on things like video, audio, marketing,
PR,
consulting, PR service,
media,
so like everything, literally. Like the government buys everything from lighting to janitorial to, everything that we consume as individual people, the government actually buys, and they're obligated to buy it from other people. They can't self-source it.
Okay.
So they have to buy it from entrepreneurs. They have to buy it. And then because traditionally a lot of the entrepreneurs have been marginalized, like Black and brown, women-owned, Latino-owned, Native American. And so they have specific pools. Now you say you feel like you found a pot of money. They have specific pools that only people who have those socioeconomic disadvantages can participate in, right? So that is the gold of money. It's the pot of money, right? It's like your bag is there. And so once you understand the power that you have as an entrepreneur, many entrepreneurs are in business. They're making a little bit of money to live and survive. Well, entrepreneurship is actually supposed to help you get past
and create a legacy, right?
And not only create legacies, but create wealth. And it's not built for you to struggle as an entrepreneur. It's built for you to create wealth. Now, you have to do it strategically, right? The people perish because of lack of knowledge, right? The lack of knowledge is what keeps us stuck. But once you understand where the money is, then you know how to, position yourself to go after it. Now, I have clients that are landing $1 million contracts.
Let's go.
$250,000 contracts. $50,000 contracts for just one day of work, right? So
you said 1 day?
1 day is so crazy, right?
Like they filled out the funding opportunity. The contracting
opportunity was for 1 day of work.
Wow.
And they're making like $50,000 just for an 8-hour day. Right.
So what were they doing for that one?
So okay, in particular, I have a client named Kim, and she does trainings like diversity and inclusion trainings.
Oh, she lit
show
right
for
now.
A day. That's $50,000. A couple of them she made $23,000.
Oh, wow.
Just for the day.
So she went in and presented?
She went in and presented.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so it's just crazy because, so I always talk about the premium value ladder, right? So there's like 3 primarily types of business models.
Okay.
They have the B2B or B2B. What the lowest premium value is B2C. That's business to consumer. At the business to consumer level, it's really hard to grow a thriving business because you need volume. You need a lot of customers. So this is where you find yourself chasing customers, having to give discounts, and it's a pricing thing and all those. So that's the hardest business model to have. And as you climb up the business value ladder, then there's B2B, which is business to business, right? More money, still takes you a lot of time to build a business, but you get paid a lot more when you're doing business with businesses, right? Then at the top level, I call it B2P. It's business to premium.
Oh.
Right? There are 2 premium buyers in the world that exist. That's government, number one biggest purchaser of business products and services in the world. And then there are corporations, B2C.
You know what? I want to really change my business model, because I'm like I've been doing B2B for all of my, business entrepreneurship journey, but I'm just like, it gotta be more.
Yeah.
It has to be more out here.
It is.
And I was like, how do I get to corporations?
Yes.
So you just put me on to some really exciting information.
And it helps you, like, and it's not that you have to stop doing what you're already doing. It's layering, right? So when you do business like with government or corporations, what it does is it gives you what I call cash infusions, right? Because you
got all the keywords.
You end up having so much money just from a simple day of work that it changes your everything, your cash flow. You have more cash flow available. You're able to take your business from, like, barely under six figures to multiple six figures in a year, like multiple six figures. And then when you start layering it, because you get your time back, which is one of the most valuable assets that you can have, right? So now it gives you the ability to have the capacity to do multiple contracts simultaneously.
Because now you can bring in more staff members.
Exactly.
You can build up your team.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can build up your systems and your automations.
Yeah. And so then from there, you're able to break through that $1 million ceiling. And then when you get there, here's the thing about becoming a first generation millionaire, first time millionaire. Like, a lot of times we're like, that's a big number, and oh my God, my life is going to change. But when you get there, you realize $1 million ain't enough.
It's not enough.
And when you understand government contracting and the money that they have for you, you're like, I'm going to leverage the government to actually really build a legacy, because that is how you actually build a multiple $1 million business and break through to billions, and for some, even trillions of dollars in business. The money is there.
But what is that application process like?
Yeah.
Like, what do we have to make sure we have in place? Yeah. How long will it take us to do it? And I know you have the app where we can identify and find them. Yeah. So that's like a step in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. So really great question. So what do you have to do to kind of apply? So I have a 4-step system that I always share with my clients. All right. It happens in 4 phases. But number 1, this is not the first step, but number 1 before, the prerequisite is in order for you to actually attract a premium buyer like corporations and business and government, right? You have to become a premium entrepreneur, which means that you can't show up any kind of way. You have to have your paperwork in order, which means your taxes have to be done. You have to have financial statements. You have to have a actual business bank account. You can't just show up like, well, I ain't got that, so can I get a contract because I'm black? No, you can't
because
do that.
I'm black,
right? No, there's a whole checklist of items that you have to have, right, in order to actually show up as a premium buyer. So once you're willing to become, because everybody ain't willing, once you're willing to become that premium entrepreneur yourself, then there are 4 simple phases that you can do. Number 1, you have to optimize your business foundation, right?
What does that mean?
So, which means, so you have to have a business license. You have to have a copy of your ID. You have to have produce your driver's license or your and your passport or birth certificate. So all the financial documents, all the things that legitimizes your business.
Okay.
If you have a LLC, then you have to have your articles of incorporation. You have to have your operations agreement. You have to have not a business plan, but you have to have a business resume. So it's just like a certain checklist of things. And I'll talk more about that, of course, because I have a 5-day challenge where I help people
I'm pretty sure you got
understand,
the resources.
Here's what you really need.
Okay.
And in the app, it actually goes through the questionnaire. Do you have this? Do you have that? And then whatever you don't have, it'll tell you, okay, in order to become that premium entrepreneur, you need these things. Right?
Oh, I know y'all excited about this information.
Yeah.
We are here at the WIM Speaks Show. Make sure you are sharing this information. If you have business owners in your life and you want to see them win and succeed and build that legacy of wealth, please go ahead and share this information.
Yeah. Okay, so the second step is certifications, right? Okay. So, of course, the socioeconomic disadvantages that we all can identify with are like minority, right? Black and brown businesses, women owned, right? Native American, disabled, service disabled, veterans. Like, oh my God, there are so many veterans that have no clue what their benefits are, but also have no clue that if you start a business, it's so much money for veteran-owned businesses.
Yeah.
It's crazy that they don't know this stuff. Okay, so but it's like you can't just show up like, oh, I'm a veteran. There's an application process that you have to go through, which means that there's a lot of paperwork, right, involved.
Okay.
Right. You know how, so there's scripture that talks about the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. A lot of people don't want to do the paperwork. A lot of people don't, and then they stay stuck where they are, right? When sometimes you can create a business for broke and not understand that just by doing these things, you'll actually elevate your lifestyle.
If you just focus, take some time, put together your checklist.
Just do it.
Sit down, eliminate the distractions, and get your paperwork in.
You got to, and so sometimes people want the outcome without putting in the input. You can't do that. Like, you have to become the person who actually takes action so that you can have the outcome. And so the certifications process, even though it could be daunting, get it done. You have to get it done because.
So you mean like going to like your Chamber of Commerce or to the SBA, and then actually being certified as a minority-owned business, a women, because you see that on people's websites.
Yeah.
And honestly, y'all, if you feeling like that, I was that person. I remember I was so young in business because I started at 19. So when I found out about the cert, I probably was like 25.
Yeah,
and I printed out this long,
I'm cool.
I got it from SCORE.
Yeah.
And I never filled it out.
Yeah.
And I always put it on my to-do list, like, oh, I got to do this. So, you know, you just convicted me.
Absolutely.
So y'all not alone, okay? Y'all not alone.
It's a lot of paperwork, but you know, it's work, but it's worth it. You definitely have to, you know, just do it.
Yeah,
because
this is exciting.
It can change your life.
This is exciting information. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, talk to us about, you have a 5-day challenge. I know that there's going to be some of our listeners who are going to want to take action because that's what us boss women in media do. So how do we, you know, get help from you?
Sure, for sure. So I actually help people walk through the stages to getting themselves pre-qualified during my 5-day challenge. So if you go to govconchallenge.com, you can actually get registered. And it's an amazing experience. But I will say this, once you go through there and have that experience, you'll never view business again. You will understand who you are as an entrepreneur, the power that you have, and then the positioning of your business will be more of a service, right? Because people who solve problems, those are the people who succeed, right? And then you'll also be able to see how there's opportunities all around us that we've been blinded to because we don't know. You know, we go through the miseducational directional institution called school, and we've been taught all of these things, you know.
I'm dying now.
And, you know, we've been taught all of the, like, we've been programmed to think and behave and to act in a certain way so that we can be middle class citizens, which the middle class is the new poor, right? Because as long as you're poor, you're taxed the most. You're taxed more than 50% of your income. Only the rich and the wealthy are just not taxed. They're bypassing taxes, right?
They bypassing just
because it's a lack of knowledge, right?
Oh my!
And so once you educate yourself, and I'm talking about self-education. I'm not talking about going. I mean, I have nothing against school because I do have a college degree, doctor's degree, and all that stuff. But I'm talking about what you learn from other people. I'm talking about what you're willing to teach yourself.
Sitting down, getting the books, reading the articles, doing the Google searches, going to, you know, download the audios and the podcast. Exactly. That learning time.
Because you learn the truth. And it's the truth that actually sets you free. And I'm not saying you're bound physically. It sets you free mentally.
Dr.
Right?
Kawana, I'm going to give you a little dance because you're killing it right now. This is amazing information.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, this is awesome.
Yeah. So the challenge actually walks you through the pre-qualifications process, and then you'll also be able to see how much money is on the table for you for your specific business.
So you like during the challenge,
I
go through the 5 days, and then I will know. This is a great opportunity for me.
Absolutely.
And then you just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
That's a really great setup because now that you're explaining this, it's like you could download the app that you have, but if you don't have the pre-qualifications, then you can't even maximize the benefits in the app.
Absolutely.
That's all, you like put it all together. So you so prior to you having this information and saying, hey, I'm going to teach others how to do government contracts, you were kind of doing marketing services and doing other things, just like a different type of business?
Yeah, no. So because I'm still a government contractor myself. So I actually still get contracts for the same stuff. So media production, video production, audio, like all that stuff. I still actually get contracts, but I also felt led and called to show other people and empower other people on how to do it, because I know that there's a lot of problems that we see in our communities, especially Black and brown communities that have been blighted. And when you think about the things like gentrification that happens and stuff, it's like, how can we be solutions, right? Entrepreneurs are there because you're supposed to be the solution, but when you don't have no capital, you don't have no power, right?
You can't even operate at your highest capacity, and even coming in as your full self, because you're thinking about how to
survive. Absolutely. And so for me, teaching business success principles and how to actually create wealth for business communities is also going to help impact those communities, because those companies are going to become more profitable. And then when you're more profitable, now you can be the solution. You can do things like buy the block back. You can start programs. You can hire your own teachers. You can build your own schools, right? So it's all about creating solutions of how can we serve at a higher capacity as entrepreneurs.
So how much of our community, how many of us are actually taking advantage of government contracting?
Not very many, for one or two reasons. Number one, most people don't know. They're still unaware. And even though government contracting is becoming more of a buzzword now.
Yeah, because it's social media, Instagram.
It's becoming more of a buzz thing, because of that. So you're either unaware or you're aware and just have no clue what to do. So people get stuck in the process and they don't really understand who they are, right? And then your purpose, because I always tell, people who come into my my world, right? I always tell them, like, your business is not for you. Like, your business is to serve other people. Your business is to change your community.
There was a quote that I read in Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice by Dennis Kimbrough. And he's quoting Andrew Carnegie and Napoleon Hill. So Napoleon Hill asks Andrew Carnegie, what's your success secret? Like, how do I do it? And he was like, by you lending and helping God help other people, that is your greatest service.
Absolutely.
That's success.
Absolutely. So, as long as you, and then also Zig Ziglar also talks about that. He talks about, if you continue helping other people, if you always help other people, you'll automatically always have what you need.
Your hand gotta be open.
Right. Yeah,
it can't be like this. It's not, you can't receive or give anything. But when your hand is always like this, it's open to give and receive.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's amazing. So you have a book as well. And can you tell us about the book?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for asking me about that. So it's called Don't Duck the Government. They've got your money. And it's really about how you can make millions of dollars pitching and winning government contracts. And so I actually wrote the book about a year ago now. And it's really just to help people understand how government contracting works and how it can work for them. And some of the navigation that you have to go through in order to really position yourself to win. And so it's a really great book. You can actually find it at don'tduckthegovernmentbook.com. So grab a copy, of course. If you go there and get a copy, inside you'll find a golden ticket. So I always talk about how certifications, like the certifications we were talking about, it's your golden ticket. It's your golden ticket to get to those pools of money that only you can participate in. As long as you have those certifications, it's a no-brainer. It's a win-win. Win-win-win. That is just all day, right?
Yes.
And so this is how we have people who have never created wealth before, who have never even made six figures in their business, who are either just started in business or been in business struggling forever. This is how they're able to become first generation millionaires in less than a year. Because they have the golden ticket and they understand how to use it and when to cash in on it.
Hey, if you are going to be the first millionaire in your family and you are agreeing to take the steps, you're going to commit, I need you to drop a comment and say, that's me. Okay, I need you all to drop a comment and say, that is me. Wow, this is awesome. I'm so happy that we were able to connect.
Yeah,
we connected not only once but twice. We were like orbiting in each other's sphere.
Circle.
You know, so I'm excited about that. We're both in the same mastermind. We have the same coach.
Yeah.
She is in the 7-figure society. I'm gonna work my way up to join this millionaire circle, but I love it. If you're not a part of a mastermind, if you are not aware of the mastermind concept or even having a coach, it is something that I encourage you to make sure that you do, that you invest in yourself, and that you know it's okay to actually invest in yourself.
Yes.
And it's going to come at a premium price. But this is proof right here of someone who actually put their dollars behind believing that they know that they have something and that they want to create a legacy of wealth for their family and their community. So I encourage you to check out the mastermind. So make sure you check out Dr. Kawana D. You could check out our mastermind right here as well. And is there anything else you want to leave us with? Maybe some inspiration for the women who are mothers and who are also in business?
Absolutely. So I am a mompreneur. So my son, he just turned 1. And I'm building a business with a baby. And a lot of times people take that as an opportunity to just sit back and be like, well, I'm just wait till this baby gets 5 or go to school and stuff like that. But hey, I'm like, strap that baby on and go, because I done traveled all over the world with my son from like right out of the hospital. We about to get this money. We about to, impact the world, because it's very important that every woman, especially moms, have the ability or have the knowledge and the know with how to actually create millions of dollars for yourself. Not to mention what you're doing for your family. It matters. It allows you to be able to do things to make money. This is another concept that I'll also teach. When you get the money, now you have to think about ways that you can invest it to make the money grow. Make the money make money.
Yeah, don't go on a spending spree because you feel good because you finally got the bag.
You will. Look, but I'm not gonna lie. It's like when you first do make a lot of money, you gonna buy that car, you gonna buy all these liabilities and not knowing. But the wealthier you get, you really start learning that you have to invest in assets.
Yes. Assets.
Knowledge and masterminds and things like that, those are assets, because it actually makes you more money than your investment. Most people don't know about that. They don't know. Like, they think, oh, I'm going to spend money. Well, it's
that's
not.
all they think about.
It's investing, because by choosing not to invest in yourself, really what you're saying is, I want to stay where I am. Because that's what it is. Because if you do the investment and do the work, you're not only going to 10x what you've invested, but you're going to continue to make return on your investment over and over and over and over, right?
I am a testimony of it. I am sold out to the mastermind concept. I will continue to stay in masterminds, continue to invest. It just, even at the end of the day, it just feels so great to be in that community of people and say, oh my gosh, all these people are winning and they want me to win too. And you're giving me the cheat code. You're telling me to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to get this result.
Period.
It's a no-brainer.
But you know what? It's crazy, because like I feel like somebody needs to hear this, because I wasn't always that way. I didn't always think that way. I used to try to do business. When I was struggling in business, it was simply because I felt like I needed to do it all by myself. I'm going to do it all on my own. I'm going to figure it out on my own. I'm not going to invest in tools. I'm not going to invest in a coach. I'm going to do it all on my own. And what you find out, what you will find is that you'll be burnt out and ain't making no money.
Burnt out and broke.
Burnt out and broke, right? It wasn't until I actually started seeding into myself that money began to flow in abundance and stuff like that. And so this is where it takes me back to everything that I learned as a Christian growing up in church and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I can feel the energy. I can feel the spirit, I'm so excited. Yeah.
It takes me back to scriptures as a child. Like, we have, even in church, like, we've been taught biblical things for the wrong reason. Like, we've been taught the wrong thing, right? When it says give and you shall receive. Yeah, giving is the way to receiving. Sowing seeds and making it grow. That is how, and then once I realized, like, I tested it one time, messed around and tested it, right? And I made so much more money back by planting that seed and investing in myself that now I can't stop investing. But the more I invest, the more I receive. It's like giving is the way to receiving. Like,
so I have a very serious question for you right
sure.
now. Are you also a preacher, pastor?
Oh, you know what?
A minister?
No, I'm
evangelist?
not. I'm not. But I feel like it's just my calling. But it's just like something woke up in me. You know what I mean? Like people always be like, Pastor Kawana, you know.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm a spiritual person. That's what it is.
Yeah, likewise.
And I believe in principles. And
Likewise.
a lot of the principles that we're supposed to be living off of and building our businesses off of and creating relationships out of is in the Bible. And so with that said, if you go back to there's a King Solomon, right?
Yep.
In the Bible. King Solomon was a coach. He was a consultant. King Solomon gave consultation to the people.
Yeah, to the people.
And what they will bring him is gold and rubies. He was a premium coach, not a cheapo people, not a cheap coach, not someone that gave you discounts. He was premium. So what they paid him, well, like literally, for real, you got to read it.
Discounts.
What they paid him, right, to this day is equal to 20 to 40 millions of dollars just to pick his brain, right? So when people are like, can I just pick your brain? No, you can't.
No.
Because and you know, and for people who have hearts, and this is just, you know, just a side conversation. I wasn't planning on talking about this, but it's important that people know. For people who have hearts of giving and they're like, oh, I just want to give it to them for free, you actually rob people. When you do things for free and for cheap, you actually rob them of the opportunity to plant a seed that's going to grow, right? And so that's why I don't do nothing I can't do it. I can't do it because I understand that giving is the way to receiving. And so when you give, regardless if you feel like I don't have it, everybody has something. You can get resourceful. You have to have it. If you want the result, you have to figure out a way to make it happen for yourself, because I understand that transformation happens in that transaction.
Yep.
Yes.
Amazing. All right, so I want to end off the show with one last question for you.
Okay.
I think we got through everything, but we do a segment called Wise Words from Women. So who's a wise woman in your life who have given you some words that you still use for your life today?
I would say, well, my mom. I would say, because my mom was a single mom. Of course, there was 7 of us living in California. That's crazy, right? And you know, she always just told me to reach for the stars. Like, there's nothing that you can't accomplish. And I didn't understand it, you know, when I was growing up. I'm like, reach for the stars? What are you talking about? There are limitations in the world. But now, as a mother myself, I understand that there is nothing that you can't accomplish when you do the work, right? When you do the work, you have to put together an action plan to get to your goal, and you can actually accomplish whatever it is that you set out to accomplish.
I love that. The Millionaire Creator, everybody, Dr. Kawana D. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Absolutely.
Let everybody know your websites and how they can follow you.
Sure. So to take the challenge, go to govconchallenge.com, right? You can also follow me on Instagram at Kawana D Speaks, and all things social media, Kawana D.
That is awesome. So, Dr. Kawana, just know that I'm going to be inviting you to speak and present and preach on every single one of my platforms, because I really want to help get this message out to the entrepreneurs that I'm connected to in the communities, because, you know, I care about them also getting this access, and you are just a wealth of information.
Thank you.
And you just feel so good. You're so encouraging. So thank you so much.
Appreciate
you.
This
is awesome. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the WIM Speaks Show. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for our very next episode.